Shit. Thank you for coming out in horrible weather for this. I appreciate it. It's a good time to be alive. Great time to be a man. Right? The bar is nice and low. It's nice. I was with a girl the other night. She said, I don't think we should have sex. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then she goes, wow, you're a great guy. I was like, that's all it takes? I'm pretty sure the alternative is a felony. I don't know if I'm a great guy, but I'll take it. I had a good mom growing up, you know? Ever since I was a little kid, my mom would say, no means no. And she was talking about cookies, but I put it together, you know? I met a girl after a show in Florida. I'm not bragging, but I do pretty well in Tampa. And she said, I'll drive you back to your hotel, but there's no way that I'm coming upstairs. I said, whatever you want to do is fine with me. So we're in the parking lot, we're making out. She said, all right, I'll come upstairs, but there is no way that you're getting laid. And I was like, am I being recorded right now? This feels like a Me Too sting operation. So very loudly into her chest, I said, that's totally cool. This is Sam Morril, March 22nd, 2018. Timestamp. No, I like consent. Consent is the shit. Consent, that's the best part, the consent. Sometimes I get the consent and then I go home and I jack off instead. Get a good 8 hours of sleep. And my friends asked, did you get laid last night? And I say, no, but I got the consent. So, it's pretty cool. No, I take the Me Too movement very seriously. You know, I won't even watch office porn anymore. That's how. Yeah. You can laugh. It's a nice gesture. It is, you know. I used to like office porn, but now I see it and I'm like, he should not have done that. There should be a guy that comes on at the end like, yeah, he doesn't work here anymore. That was crazy. There was this gay porn star. I was reading about this guy. That's how I know this. And I do a lot of reading. And he got banned from all these porn sites because he has Nazi tattoos on his chest, which you got to be kind of a scumbag for porn sites to be like, this doesn't really align with our values. We're kind of a family here at gangfuck.net, and we're disappointed. It was hard to me to come out tonight, you know? Well, it's not the weather, it's my neighbors are breaking up and I didn't want to miss it, you know? It sounds very painful for them, so I don't feel good about it. But have you ever heard a relationship unravel from the comfort of your own couch? It's kind of nice. I'll be watching the game and I hear the fight start and I have to hit mute so I can listen. I was watching tennis and I just overheard her go, oh yeah, and I was like, click. She just yells out, you have a tiny dick. And I was like, cancel my plans. This is more important. And then he goes, oh yeah, you're a fucking bitch. And I was like, all right, so far she's winning, for sure, you know? Not even close. And then she goes, oh yeah, your dick is so small. So she's recycling material, but still a devastating blow, you know? Not easy to come back from. And then he yells out, oh yeah, well your pussy stinks. And I was like, all right, we got a match on our hands here. And it's going back and forth so much it almost starts to sync up with a tennis match where it's like tiny dick, stinky pussy. Tiny dick, stinky pussy. So finally I had to knock on the door. I said, hey, it's Sam from across the hall, long-time listener, first-time knocker. You guys are killing it. I wore a little referee shirt. I said, both of you should drop your pants. I'll settle this shit right now, you know? Breakups, man, they're painful, right? They don't feel good. I got a text from my ex not too long ago. She said, just out of the blue, she wrote, just so you know, I'm seeing this new guy. And I wrote back, oh, wow, okay. And then she wrote, what, you didn't think I was ever going to date ever again? And I said, no, I didn't remember signing up for the push notifications. You know, I'd like to hear less from you and the HuffPo, if possible. But neither of you will leave me be. You know what the problem is? We have sex ed when we're kids, but we need relationship ed. That's where you need the help. I don't need help with how to put a condom on. I need help with what to do when she starts packing her shit. That's where I need the guidance. She's like, I don't love you anymore. And I'm like, cool, Coach Mitchell did not cover this part, but I could show you where the clit is. She's like, now's not a good time. I'm like, all right, keep me posted. I wear a condom every time. You have to. It's not fun, but you got to do it. It's like doing volunteer work. Because during, I'm like, this kind of sucks, but then afterwards, I'm always thinking, good for me. Yeah. I do it for the kids. That's why. You know? Gotta wear a condom. It's not the best, but you know, lambskin. Anyone do a lambskin condom? Yeah, you do it? What do you think? You like it? It's so much better? It is. Yeah, no one else. It's just me and her. We're the only shepherds in the house tonight. What happened? Right? It is good, right? It feels better. Here's how you do it if you don't know. You fuck in a lambskin, and then you eat a gyro, and then you go out in a wool sweater. You got to use the entire animal. That's how you do it. But I feel bad in relationships because I'm very disappointing, you know? I really am. I think women are like, he's a comic, he'll be fun. I'm fun, there's other stuff. I'm like the Dominican Republic, you know? I'm great for like 5 days, and then you're like, oh, this has some problems I was not aware of. I'm not Haiti, but I'm in the vicinity of what that is. Weird time. And I feel for you women. Look, the Me Too stuff, I get it. It's a weird, it's a very emotional issue. It's also a very important issue. It's a weird combo, though. You know, sometimes we'll see posted as a man, it doesn't fully resonate. I saw a post the other day, it said there's nothing more feared than an intelligent woman. I was like, that's not true. It's not even in my top 5. And I frighten easily, but I've never been on the subway at 2 in the morning and been like, oh no. This looks like a pack of valedictorians right here. I just hope they're not summa cum laude. So much has changed. It's kind of crazy. You think about it. Like, I think about some of these movies from the 80s, these sex comedies like Porky's, Revenge of the Nerds. I love those movies. They always had that scummy best friend. You know the guy I'm talking about? He'd always ask questions like, did you get laid last night? And if he said no, I'd be like, this guy blew it. I miss that character because it's going to be extinct. They're going to remake these movies. They're going to have to write in a woke best friend. Some guy like, did you smash last night? Nah, we just talked. And he's like, well, sometimes a conversation is equally fulfilling. So, that's kind of cool. A lot's changed. Some of it's for the better, obviously. I remember, like, in college, not that long ago, they would say things like, don't go to that frat house, stay roofie. That's a thing they would say out loud. And I'd be like, oh my God, should we do something? They're like, no, just don't go there. That's it? I got roofied at a party in college by accident, but you know, it still counts. It's obviously was an accident. No one at the party was like, I'm gonna roofie that hairy boy over there. Let me fuck a passed out werewolf tonight. That is male privilege right there, isn't it? I just told a room full of people I got roofied. I did not see one concerned face in here. Everyone in here is like, I assume things worked out for you. And they did. Still weird though. Here's what happened. I was at a party, and this guy handed a girl a drink, and she said, I'm too drunk. And I said, I'll drink it. And he gave me this hateful look, and I thought, why is this guy so mad at me? And then I chugged it, and I woke up the next morning, and I was like, oh, that guy's a sexual predator. And my friend said, you ruined his night. And I was like, that's not how I want to think about it. You don't want to think of yourself as a cock block to some monster. I prefer to think of myself as an accidental hero. I have -1 rapes, so, you know, statistically, you know, I can't, you guys, I can't take all the credit, you know? It's kind of like if I was driving drunk and I just swerved and accidentally hit a mugger. And some woman is like, my hero, and I'm like, if you say so, but I might have a substance abuse problem, so. It's hard not to drink, man. It's very hard. I work in a place where there's a bar every night. I've been trying to be good. It's very difficult. I read this article that said, try to replace drinking with another activity, like tennis with a friend. I was like, yeah, that's a very helpful example. That's always the crossroads I find myself at 4:57 a.m. I can't tell you how often I'm coming out of a blackout like, fuck, I should have done doubles instead. I brought my Wilson racket and everything. You're telling me to replace an addiction with cardio? That's very helpful. I'm gonna start walking into halfway houses full of crackheads. Like, have you guys done Zumba? It's so much better than crack. They're like, thanks, we didn't know. That was helpful. Of course you want to get fucked up. Have you tried living? I'm happy and I want to get fucked up. Have you watched the news? It makes you want to drink. Another mass shooting after another mass shooting. It's always the same thing, too. It's always some guy who's like, I heard voices in my head. We all do. Everyone hears voices in their head. Good people just don't listen to them. If I listened to all the voices in my head, I would be a sometimes gay street fighter. So, I know. It sounds like a confusing video game. It's not, you know? Why is he Honda butt fucking me? Well, that's his finisher. Every mass shooter, it was a very quiet man. That should be part of the background check for guns, right? You want this gun, you better be fucking chatty. Really. Do my podcast, we'll see if you're an extrovert. I don't trust it. It's a sad time to live in, right? There's school shootings now, it's horrible. Because now getting held back is a real threat. Yeah. Do you want to go to summer school, please? I've already done 2 tours of freshman year. I don't want it. Some of these jokes, the content you're not going to like, but structurally they're going to be really solid. So that helps. It does help with it. Look. These shootings are so senseless and horrible that sometimes these anchors try to make sense of them on the news and they try to sound profound and it just comes out wrong. I was watching this guy after a shooting and he said, now would be a good time to be around people. I was like, yeah, that sounds a lot like where the tragedy happened. So I'm gonna stay at home alone. And if I die, it's gonna be from autoerotic asphyxiation, okay? On my terms. That's a better way to, that's how I wanna go. Peacefully in my own hotel closet. That's a weird fetish, right? Autoerotic asphyxiation, you gotta choke yourself to come? I don't know. How do you even find out you're into that? Are you just jerking off in a turtleneck and you're like, I like where this is going. A little more fresh. I was just in California. They have a 10-day wait for the guns. That's a good rule. A gun should never be an impulse buy. You should never be returning a gun like we made up. So. You know what's weird? They always bring up the Founding Fathers. Every gun debate, they bring up the Founding Fathers, right? They always say the Founding Fathers had guns. They did. They also had wigs. It was a long time ago. That's how long ago it was. They thought a powdered wig was a good look, so that's my stance on guns. You could have a gun, but I think you should have to wear the wig. Right? Because at least then I can tell who's dangerous from afar. If I'm trying to get in my apartment at 2 a.m. and I turn around and see a Ben Franklin-looking motherfucker, I just hope that's not an intelligent woman, honestly. But, yeah. Yeah. If you're gonna go in the hood, it's gonna look like the cast of Hamilton. But they always bring up the Founding Fathers. They never mention the fact these people had a life expectancy of the mid-30s, so it probably wasn't a big deal when they got shot. I would assume most funerals were like, look, he had 3 to 5 years left tops, so that's like getting shot now in your 80s, which would almost be kind of cool. How would you rather die? Connected to tubes for 3 months? Or would you rather go out like a G? I want to die in my 80s in a gang-related incident. I want my obituary to say comedian Sam Morril was shot dead today at the age of 87. His last words, thug life. As he emptied the clip. There's so much to be scared of, too, isn't there? Incels, they're new words we have to learn. Incels. The involuntary celibates. They don't get laid, so they become terrorists, and they look a lot like me. It's very upsetting. But that's a certain type of person, because I have married friends that don't get laid. They haven't made the jump to ISIS, but maybe they should. ISIS lacks that type of diversity. They don't have enough divorced men. Just a bunch of dudes. Death to the infidels, and one guy like, also Karen. I mean, we gotta kill Karen too, right? You ever read the botched terrorist missions? Those are my favorites, the ones who couldn't cut it. There were these guys around 9/11, they were getting too drunk at strip clubs in Florida. I love the fact that you can come to this country hating us, and then you go to a few strip clubs, and you're like, they're not that bad. It turned out to be a false report, though, because it said they were going to strip clubs and dive bars and even college parties. I was like, oh man, that's such a bummer. Because that's where you want to meet a terrorist, like a mixer. They're like, we used to be Al-Qaeda, now we're Sigma Chi. So, the objective is still virgins, but, I think about it all the time. I think about, all these scary ways you could die traveling. I read this story about a depressed pilot who nose dove a plane and killed all these people on board. So, that's got to be a bummer. You know what the first thing I say when I get on flights now is I say, what a lovely day it is to be alive. And I hope that positive energy trickles its way into the cockpit. And they're like, yeah, it is good. Because I'll be on flights sometimes and the pilot comes on, he's cheesy and people roll their eyes, but that's what you want. That guy's still trying. What do you want, a down in the dumps captain? Hey, this is your pilot, it's gonna be a bumpy ride, but that's life, it's hard. So, says it's gonna be a 6-hour trip, we're gonna land way sooner than that, so buckle up, or don't, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna murder you. Thanks for flying Spirit. Depression, man. The depression is real. It really is. Someone sent me a very helpful article on depression recently. It said these are the foods you got to eat if you're depressed. Which, thank God, that's if you're at that point, just end it. Honestly, has that ever turned it around for anyone? I was gonna jump off a roof, but then I ate some dried mangoes, and I'm feeling good. They find your corpse on the sidewalk. I don't understand. He ate so many cashews. Why would he? I'm not built for air travel. I'm 6'3", I'm lanky, I'm kind of weak, I got a middle seat on my way back from LA recently. I get up to use the bathroom. I come back, the guy in the aisle is sleeping, which is very annoying, because you knew I was coming back. There's no skydiving option on board, okay? I had to return. And now I have to make the decision, do I wake him up and piss him off, or do I mount? I think I'm more flexible than I am, so I elected to mount. And I have just horrible lateral balance. I did not stick the landing. My leg comes down on his leg. I'm on top of the guy. As I'm on top, I see his little sleeping mask come up. What do? I kissed him on the mouth. That's what I did. But, there was nothing sexual about it. It was a Godfather 2 Fredo kiss. I said, I knew it was you. Mostly because you were sitting here before, but... No, I'm not built for this travel type lifestyle. It's not working for me. I had to see a sports medicine doctor about my back, and he gave me muscle relaxers. I said, hey, can I drink on these? And he said, absolutely. I was like, are you sure? And he said, I do. And I was like, that wasn't the question. He said, are you sure it's not going to mess my liver up? He said, it'll fuck it up real bad. I was like, all right. So, he's not my doctor anymore, but we do hang out. He's cool. This guy texts me all the time. He texted me the other day, yo, what the fuck is up? And I was like, what medical school did you go to? I'm gonna guess the Cayman Islands, He tells me to swim at the rec center because of my back. I love it. I love the rec center. I don't know if you've ever been there. As a Jew, it's fantastic. It's just old Jews and Japanese men. If you had it bad during World War II, this is your spot, okay? Fantastic. Every time I go swimming, there's a morbidly obese woman on a noodle. She's just floating horizontally across the lap lanes. And we just swim around her like she's not there. It's part of the rec center code. And I can tell when there's a new guy because he looks confused, and I say, that's Kathy. I go right, you go left. We've developed a system. Then on the wall it says, rule number 1, no swimming with diarrhea, which I'm like, all right. I agree. I kind of wish it weren't rule number 1. I don't know who that rule is for, the most motivated human who's ever lived. Some guy at home like, ugh. I'm still going, but... Rule number 2, must wait 2 weeks after having diarrhea to swim in the pool. And I was like, all right out of the gate. Mostly diarrhea-related rules, you know? Clearly there's an incident that we're dancing around here. You know you didn't pick a first-rate exercise facility when all the rules are like, could you not shit on our stuff? It's been a problem. I love this place. Everything about it's off. I went to the bathroom, I knock on the door, and the guy in the bathroom yells out, who is it? That's not what you're supposed to say. You're supposed to say, I'm in here. You're not supposed to be expecting company in the men's rec room bathroom. But I figured I'd give it a shot, so I said, it's Sam, and he goes, no. There was a right answer. You're gonna hate this next show, but I'm gonna do it anyway. This is how bad my back was. I read a headline in the paper that said graveyard worker had sex with over 100 dead bodies, and my first thought was, that does a lot of digging, you know? I know that's a horrible person, but that's also an unattainable fitness goal for me, and I would kill for that core strength. How much true crime is there gonna be? Are you guys watching this like me? It's so addictive, yeah. Give it up for all these murderers for all this great content. You keep killing, we'll keep watching. That's what I say. I don't want to point fingers here, but you women are getting murdered at an alarming rate. I don't know if you're paying attention. I would recommend never going home with us, ever. If a woman goes home with you, she really trusts you, or she's taking a chance, you know? So whenever I open the door, I always turn to her and I say, hey, thanks for rolling the dice, you know? I appreciate it. That's all I watch is murder and stand-up. I've been doing this for a while. I see comics sometimes on Netflix. I'm like, this guy fucking stinks. I wonder if murderers watch true crime. Like, this is pretty disappointing, honestly. 3 murders in 5 years? I should be the one on television. We all do it. We're getting desensitized. You ever just watch 4 straight episodes of Law & Order SVU and it hits you like, that was probably too much rape for a Sunday? I don't know. I'm not even paying attention. I'm folding laundry and I'm thinking, when did this become background noise in my life? I should not be consuming SVU like it's smooth jazz, you know? The darkest plots you've ever seen. I'm watching one, the mom's pushing her baby in the stroller. She turns around for a second, then turns back around. The baby's gone. That's not even bad parenting. That's incredibly efficient kidnapping, by the way. You got to give credit where credit's due, because she was crying, I'm a horrible mother. And I was like, no, you ran into one of the greats. That was like the Steph Curry of abduction. That was pretty flawless. See it on these dating sites too. I read this article, it said that you got to be careful on dating apps now because there are these gangs all post pictures of really hot women and then you show up on the date and they just rob and beat the shit out of you. That's got to be a bummer. Because it already sucks when it doesn't look like the picture. That's got to suck extra. You show up for your date at 2 a.m. at the bridge, and 8 dudes are walking toward you, and you're like, Kathleen? I was in an Uber right after a breakup. You ever just overshare with the driver? He said, how are you? I said, I had this breakup. He said, let me tell you some shit about breakups. And the second he said that, I thought, I might have fucked up, you know? He said, you know what I did when my girlfriend left? And I said, what? He's like, I fucked everyone. You think that helped? And I said, no. And he said, it did. All right. He said, you know what else I did? I called her up. I told her all about it. You think that helped? And I said, God, no. And he said, it did. And I said, I'm going to stop guessing because you're very unpredictable. Went on for 20 more minutes. I finally got out of the car. I was like, do you think that was helpful for me at all? And he said, probably not. And I said, it was. One of the hard things about dating now is a lot of younger people are meaner. They're very mean. That's how they flirt. I think it's called negging. I was talking to a girl after a show. My poster was up, and she goes, "Wow, you look really ugly in that picture." I said, "Oh, that's not very nice." And she goes, "You're a comedian." I said, "Yeah, I'm also a human being." So I enjoy pleasant conversations as well. And I was wearing a striped sweater, so she goes, "Nice sweater. Did you wear it on purpose, or did you escape a prison?" She said prison, which kind of bugged me. I was like, "I feel like you don't know a lot about prison." I said, "I'd like to escape this conversation." She said, "That's all you got?" And I said, "I have to be meaner to you to communicate?" She said, "Hit me with your best shot, Mr. Comedian." I said, "Rather not." She said, "Come on." So I said, "All right, you're very pretty, and I'm very lonely, and I would still rather masturbate than pursue this." Yeah. So we're back at my place. And, yeah, it works. Negging works, I'll tell you, it really does. I was making out with her and it hit me. I don't even like this person. I'm thinking, what am I doing? I'm making out with her. I said, "Hey, maybe we should stop." And she goes, "What, you're rejecting me?" And I said, "I don't think this is a good idea." And she said, "I'm really turned on now that you're saying no to me." And I said, "You seem like a pretty unhealthy person." She said, "No one's ever rejected me. This is the most turned on I've ever been." I said, "Well, then you're going to be super hot for this Uber I just called you, okay?" Hopefully get the guy I got. He loves to fuck. I went on a date with a girl. She told me her last boyfriend was 60, which I thought was kind of shocking. I said, "That's a pretty big age gap." She said, "Let me tell you something. There's no difference between a 30-year-old dick and a 60-year-old dick." And I said, "I haven't done the research, but I feel like there is." I'm going to go with temperament. I think that's the difference. A young dick is like an intern, up at the crack of dawn, overeager, down for whatever. An old dick is like a CEO. He's like, "This better be important, okay? I don't have a lot of time." So we're on the date, we're making out in the bar. She starts going underneath my pants, just looks me dead in the eye and goes, "Why aren't you erect?" I was like, "Erect? What are you, a transformer? Who talks like that?" "I'll tell you why, because we're kissing, I'm not 14. Have you seen the shit that's out there? You want to get me hard, tell me you're a dental assistant, your husband's coming home in 5 minutes, then we'll talk, you know?" I watch too much porn. So, I do. I'm aware of it. You notice it while you're having sex sometimes. Because we were having sex and it was good, and while we were doing it, I just said, "I will eat your butt." And she said, "You don't have to do that." And I was like, "Thank you." I overextended myself. Thanks for catching that one and reeling us back in, you know? This porn is just not good. It's all these dark topics. I saw a taboo link on a porn site, so I clicked on it, and it was incest porn. I was like, "All right, you called my bluff. That is taboo, you know?" Then the next one was interracial, and I was like, they should divide these up a little better. I don't know. What kind of racist porn site? Every porn category is just shit you should never do, right? Like fuck your best friend's mom. It's rude. Blackmail your boss. It's a place of business. It's criminal, you know? We need some positive porn categories to rewire us. We need categories like couple that's been together for a while. Fucks after autism benefit. You'd be like, "All right, well, I'm not glad I jerked off at 2 p.m., but they raised a lot of money for those kids, you know?" Instead of the money shot. I'm happy I'm doing this in New York, you know, because I've been on the road a lot. No, I'm not pander. So, no, I'm useless on the road. I can't drive. I can drive, but if you were in a car with me, you'd be like, "Pull over, I'm gonna drive." It's not good. I'm bad and reckless. That's a bad combo. You ever get cut off by a reckless driver, then you catch up with them, you gotta see what they look like? It doesn't matter what race or gender. Every time I see what they look like, I'm always like, I fucking knew it. Could just be a white guy. I'm like, classic. This is a classic white motherfucker. Takes what he wants, contributes nothing to society. I'm only gonna do the example for white people. But, you know. Don't want you to get uneasy. I heard a guy yell at a cab driver the other day. He said, learn the goddamn language. Which that's messed up, right? And guess what? It's sometimes nice when they don't know the language, right? You ever call a car to the airport at 5 a.m. and you get a little Korean guy? Like, oh, this might be a nice, quiet ride. Then you get in the highway and he's like, weather's weird. You're like, fuck. This jack-off learned the language. I'm a yellow cab man. I don't like Lyft or Uber. It's not my thing. You know why? Because you rate them, they rate you. You're both on your best behavior. It feels like a first date. Even the way they pick you up feels like a blind date, right? They're like, are you Sam? And I'm like, yes. I like a yellow cab. It feels like a marriage. Neither of you are trying at all. The second you get in, he's mid-conversation on speakerphone. I'm in the backseat eating Caribbean street food. Smoking ad. It's weird that they can do anti-smoking ads, but you can't do pro-cigarette commercials. Isn't that weird? They don't give them a rebuttal. And I'm not like a big cigarette guy, but I like one when I'm drunk sometimes. It's nice. I thought of a good pro-cigarette commercial. How about this for like a casual smoker? A hot girl walks up to a guy in the bar and asks to bum a cigarette, and he goes, oh, I don't smoke. So then she goes outside and bums one from another guy, and they go home together and they fuck, and that's the whole commercial. Then at the end, it just says, wouldn't kill you to carry a pack, you know? Marlboro, just in case. All right, I got some momentum. Let's break out the abortion jokes. So, if there was ever a time, my friend just had one. Her boyfriend didn't contribute to the cost, which I thought was not cool, you know? She's going through, yeah, that's not a very noble stance, I don't think. That is how low the bar is. I'm like, guys should pay a little bit for the abortion, and women are like, he's a hero. He really is. No, even the most pro-life person I talked to was like, wow, chivalry is dead. That was the baby's name, Chivalry. And, you know, dead. I'm just saying, that one's not for everybody, that joke. I did that joke the other night, and somebody yelled out, boo! I thought it was a baby's ghost, but, you know, I'm just saying there are still gentlemen. If I knock you up and you need an abortion, it's on the house. I'll throw my Delta Sky Miles card right on the counter. Are you sure, Sam? I got this. With all the rewards and benefits that Delta has to offer, I'd be a fool to do otherwise. I'm 2 to 3 abortions away from Diamond Medallion status, so... I'm losing some of you, but I'm going to take it a step further here. I think you should get extra Sky Miles points with an abortion, because that's one less crime baby on board, you know? Me personally, I don't like doing that part of the joke, but I have a sponsorship deal with Delta, and, you know, they get very upset when I leave it out. They dock me Biscoff cookies. Love those cookies. I was talking to a guy after a show. He told me there's going to be an anti-abortion parade, which I think he meant to say march, you know. I don't think there's going to be a parade, but if there is, I'll be there. I want to see what the floats look like. That one looks unfinished. That's what we're going for. So, yeah. Back-to-back abortion jokes. I got greedy, guys. I did. I got a little greedy. I'm a pretty liberal guy, but some of my friends now are so liberal that everything turns into like slavery or the Holocaust in every conversation. You know what I'm talking about? I was talking to my friend the other day, and he goes, Trump is Hitler. I said, all right, look, we don't know how hilarious Hitler would have been on social media. That's not fair. Hitler might have had a strong Twitter presence. Trapped in bunker. Sad. Adolf's trending. I came across this article the other day on the internet, just said fun facts about Hitler, which I think is a great title. I've always said there aren't enough upbeat pieces on the Fuhrer. Fun fact about Hitler, didn't pay income tax, was very bad at managing his money, and I thought, man, it's too bad there wasn't a group of people that could have helped, you know? That's Jews. So, that's... You know where that joke did not hit? Naples, Florida, okay? Terrible people. My least favorite city, I'll never go back. I bombed 4 straight nights. I got into an argument with an 80-something-year-old man. I had a breakdown on the last show. I finally just said, I gotta get out of Naples. He goes, well, you're still here. I said, well, I'll be out in the morning. You'll be in a casket soon. And he said, you'll have to put me there. And I said, that's not how time works. And it kept escalating back and forth. Finally, I hear a voice in the crowd yell out, Grandpa, enough. That's Naples to me. My dad called me to check in. He said, how are you? I said, I'm in fucking Naples. And my dad goes, Italy? And I was like, oh no. These jokes are not taking me abroad, Pops. I'm in Florida. The bad part. True story, I'm on stage there. I just, as a start to a bit, I go, so I'm a New York Jew, and someone in the crowd goes, ugh, no. Not a yes or no question. It's my heritage. Also, ugh, that's our sound. That's cultural appropriation, okay? Not all gigs are this fun, man. I think my mom worries about my career choice sometimes. Sometimes it'll be a bad gig. I do casinos sometimes. They're the worst gigs ever. You know, they pay pretty well, but they're soul-crushing. You're just watching people stand up one by one and exit throughout the show. Some by scooter. It's very jarring. But, and the casino's not even mad because they want these people pissing away their money on the gambling floor, you know? So I go to apologize to management. They're like, no, you're doing a great job. You should bust out the abortion jokes earlier tomorrow night, because those went horribly. But I think she worries. My mom worries a lot. I was with her the other day on the street. We saw a dead bird, and I said, ew, dead pigeon. My mom goes, don't touch it. I was like, what do you think happens when you're not around? You think I'm just walking around? Let me grab this shit right here. Hell yeah. Lunch meat. I don't blame my mom for worrying. You know, I still get in trouble. I got assaulted in Burlington, Vermont earlier this year, which is not where you think it's going to happen. A lot of open-toed sandals. Everyone's high. I thought it was safe, honestly, but they seem like nice people. Bernie even seems like a nice guy. I like Bernie Sanders. You know why? Because he debates the way I've argued with every woman in every relationship. I know I don't have a chance. I just want to get my ideas out there, you know? So I'm in Vermont, and I'm out after the show. I'm having a couple beers with some comics. We're at a bar 2 blocks from the venue. Some guy walks up to me. I can tell something's off about him. And he just looks at me and he goes, University of Vermont? And I said, no. And he goes, master's degree? And I said, you're getting colder. And he said, I want to beat the shit out of all of you. But he's only looking at me. Yeah. And I looked him up and down. I was like, he's bluffing. So I turn around. As I turn around, he grabs me by the shoulder, takes a pint glass, and smashes it over my head. And I thought, I poorly read that situation. He was not bluffing. So he runs out. They call the cops. And the first thing I say after he hangs up with the cops is I yell to the bar, you all heard him call me Jew boy before he did it. And they said, I didn't hear that. And I said, I did. And a Jussie Smollett tale is born. So they put him in the back seat. The cops get him very quickly. He wasn't getting far on foot. He's in the back seat of the car. The cops are examining to see how bad my injury is. They're taking glass out of my hair. And the cop asked, did he smash a pint glass on your head? And I said, it could have been a pint glass. It could have been a menorah. It happened very quickly, okay? And the cop asked, do you see spinning? I said, like a dreidel. It's pretty rough, you know? Then finally I had to admit it wasn't a hate crime, and they took the guy away, and the bar manager turned to me and he said, just so you know, this never happens here. And I was like, yeah, I figured. That'd be pretty weird if you were like, that was Scott. So, Scott does that. I've unfortunately had a bad string of luck on the road. Some of it's my fault. About 8 years ago, I was drinking too much. I was a young comic on the road. I was in Seattle. I was hitting on a girl after the show. Every 30 seconds, her friend would lean in and go, not interested. every 30 seconds, she could do a bit better than you. It would get progressively meaner. At one point, she goes, you're very unattractive. And I was a drunk kid. I just said, get some more Botox, you lizard. I'm deeply ashamed of myself for saying that, and it's completely inappropriate. Although if you were there, you would have been like, he nailed it, totally. But she seemed furious. I couldn't tell by her face, but she seemed very upset. Me and my friend were laughing. As we're laughing, I get popped in the face by her boyfriend. I deserved it. She was a lizard, but she was his lizard, and I thought it was cool that they stuck together, you know? But this was foreshadowing. A month later, I'm in Cleveland. Horrible time to be in Cleveland. It was when LeBron left the first time. Okay, yeah, exactly. I don't know if you guys remember, but they did not take it well. And they made the mistake of having their whole economic plan at the time be LeBron, and that's it. So it was rough. And I love Cleveland. I've always had good times there. I like the people. It felt like the whole city got dumped because it was Valentine's Day, too. It was just a weird vibe. And I met this hot older woman after the show, and we hit it off. But she's there with a guy friend who's just a friend, but it's Valentine's Day. There's that weird energy in the air. He's kind of going for her. I'm going for her. And he's buying me drinks to keep an eye on me. And I'm accepting the drinks because I lack character. So he gets up to go to the bathroom, and I asked her, do you want to get out of here? And she said, yeah, let's ditch him. This is how stupid I am. I take her to the bar next door. That's my getaway plan. I was like 7 feet to the left. We got this. So we're doing shots, we're making out. It's a very romantic night. And I'm glad some people laughed at that. I can tell I'm in a shitty city when that doesn't get laughs at all. When people are like, that's a very romantic night out. That's dry humping and Jaeger shots. That's how we did our 40th anniversary. So I finally say, hey, do you want to leave? And she said, I want to go back to your hotel. And I said, all right then. So we go outside. The dude is standing right there. And I was like, oh no. He goes, so there you guys are. Where the fuck do you think you're going? I said, oh, we're going to go back to my hotel. And he goes, oh yeah, you're just going to fuck her and then fly back to New York? And I said, honestly, yes, that was the game plan. I was going to pitch it quite differently. I was going to say something romantic, like, shall we make love before my expedition or something? And I was going to liven it up a little. He gets closer to me, he goes, you want to fuck her, you got to fight me first. And that's the first time I noticed he was missing teeth, and I was like, oh no. He's been down this road before. And I'm not going to fight him, because I've never had sex with anyone and been like, that was better than teeth. Never. After every one night stand, I'm like, man, it's cool, I could still eat apples after this. This is great, you know? I run down to the hotel lobby, I grab me a Macintosh, I go about my day. So I said, hey, I'm not going to fight you. And he said, that's what I thought, pussy. Come here, babe. Doesn't say a word to me, just calls her over. She goes with him. They clearly have a weird arrangement of some sort. They start walking away. As they walk away, there's a guy behind me in a white sweatshirt, matching white sweatpants, very underdressed for Cleveland in February, okay? He's not quite sitting. He's not quite standing. He's almost perched. And as they walk away, he loudly says, I wasn't going to let anything happen to you. Who are you? He walks over and he goes, I police this part of town. I said, you're a policeman? He's not. This man is obviously not with law enforcement of any kind. So I asked, do you work for the bar? He said, no. And I said, are you a vigilante of some sort? And he said, yeah. And he's in white. So I said, what's your superhero name, the Snowflake? And he said, I go by the White Knight. And I'm just drunk enough to be like, hell yeah. That's all it took. I'm like, this guy's legit. He's got a name. So we start chatting. I'm kind of baffled. I asked him, you just wait outside and break up fights? And he said, I protect downtown Cleveland. I said, haven't you been hurt? He said, I've been stabbed twice. I was like, dude, why do you do this? He said, because I fucking love Cleveland, that's why. And it's kind of touching, honestly. He's crazy, but he's loyal. They lost LeBron. They got this guy. It's a horrible trade. Don't get me wrong. But this is what loyalty looks like. It's not always pretty, you know? So we start taking a walk. I'm taking a little stroll with the White Knight. And we pass a comedy club, and my poster's in the door. And he said, you're a comedian? I said, yeah. He said, I could never do what you do. And I said, I could never do what you do either. It's illegal and strange and quite alarming, to be frank. So there's a real mutual admiration going on, you could say. And we started chatting for a while about life and love. You know, at one point he asked me, why don't you have a girlfriend on Valentine's Day? And I said, probably my life choices and my career. And he said, me too. And I said, we're not so different, you and I, White Knight. So he walks me back to the hotel, and he said he's coming to my show tomorrow night. And I said, great, so I'll see you then. And we exchange information, as you do with vigilantes. And I wake up the next morning, head pounding, thinking, did that even happen? But of course it did. You don't daydream the white knight. First email I see just says subject heading white knight, and I thought, I think it's him. I don't know that many white knights. It said, Sam, it was such a pleasure to meet you last night. Unfortunately, something came up and I'm unable to attend your show this evening. Sincerely, your new friend and fan, the White Knight, in parentheses, Joshua. That made me very happy. Jews are very underrepresented as superheroes. You know, he's our Black Panther. So I email him back, it bounces back. I email him again, it bounces back, to the point that I'm like, this guy's created a fake email account to contact me and then just disappear. It's like in Batman when he's talking to Commissioner Gordon and he turns away for a second and turns back and Batman's gone. But you see the wind moving. He did that to me via email. It was always in the back of my head. Years go by, I never hear from him, but I always thought about it because I've had weird drunk nights, but this one's particularly strange. So it must have been 6 years later, I get an email out of the blue. Different email address, but it still says subject heading White Knight. And I thought, it's probably him. I don't have a large White Knight Rolodex, so all it said was, saw you on Conan, funny shit, White Knight. And I wrote back, hell yeah, dude, you're still out there white knighting, I'm still doing comedy, we're both still in the game. And he wrote back, oh no, I no longer engage in white knighting. I now have a wife and a little boy, and we reside in the suburbs of Cleveland. And I was like, this traitorous motherfucker. And then he wrote, how are you? And I said, I'm in fucking Naples. And he wrote back, Italy? And I was like, yeah. Thank you so much for coming out, guys. You've been amazing. I appreciate it very much. All right. Thank you so much.
Come on, baby. If you